Can you imagine buying a ring for £10 at a car boot sale and finding out it's worth over £500,000? It sounds like a movie plot, but it actually happened. A woman in London bought a ring back in the 1980s, thinking it was just a piece of costume jewelry. The stone was huge, but it was in a dirty old mount and didn't sparkle much, so she wore it every day for 30 years without a second thought. One day, on a whim, she took it to Sotheby's auction house. Imagine her shock when the jewelers told her it wasn't a piece of glass, but a genuine 26-carat diamond, that £10 ring, which she almost didn't buy, ended up selling at auction for a staggering £656,750. This incredible story proves that treasure isn't always buried deep in the ground or locked away in a vault. Sometimes, it's sitting right there on a folding table at your local flea market, just waiting for someone with a keen eye to spot it. So, before you head out on your next treasure hunt, let's arm you with some knowledge. Today, I'm going to share 10 simple checks you can do to tell if that shiny trinket is a real gem or just a pretty fake. Keep your eyes open, because your next bargain find could change your life. First up, the weight test. This is one of the simplest and most intuitive checks. Real gemstones and precious metals like gold and platinum are dense. They feel heavy and substantial in your hand. Fakes, on the other hand, are often made of glass or cheaper metals, which feel noticeably lighter. A good tip is to carry a known piece of costume jewelry with you. When you find something you're interested in, hold your fake piece in one hand and the potential treasure in the other. If the new item has that satisfying, solid heft to it, that's your first positive sign. It's a gut feeling, but a surprisingly reliable one. Next, look for hallmarks or stamps. This is where a small magnifying glass becomes your best friend. Flip over the ring, pendant, or brooch and carefully inspect the inside of the band or the back of the piece. You're looking for tiny engravings. Marks like 925 mean it's sterling silver. If you see 1 OK, 1 4K, or 1 8K, you're looking at gold of varying purity. Plat or PT indicates it's platinum. These are all great signs. Now, don't be discouraged if you don't see a mark. Older pieces, especially antique ones, sometimes lack hallmarks, so their absence doesn't automatically mean it's a fake. It just means you need to rely on our other checks to gather more clues. Now for the fun part, the sparkle. Real diamonds and many other natural gems are masters of light. They have a high refractive index, which means they bend and split light in a very specific, brilliant way. So, take the piece out into the sunlight or use your phone's flashlight. A real diamond will throw off two kinds of light, flashes of rainbow color from inside the stone, which is called fire, and intense white sparkle from the surface, known as brilliance. Glass or cubic zirconia, by contrast, tends to have a much softer, duller gleam. It might look shiny, but it won't have that sharp, dazzling play of light that makes a real diamond so captivating. Here's a classic trick for diamonds, the fog test. It's simple, quick, and surprisingly effective. Just hold the stone close to your mouth and breathe on it lightly, as if you were trying to fog up a mirror. Now, watch closely. A real diamond is an excellent heat conductor, so it will disperse the moisture from your breath almost instantly. The fog will vanish in a second or two. On a fake stone like glass or cubic zirconia, the condensation will linger for several seconds before clearing. It's a cool little science experiment you can do right there at the stall. If you have a loose stone, try the water drop test. Please, only do this if the stone is not in a setting and you can do it safely. Simply drop the stone into a glass of water. Real diamonds and other dense gemstones like sapphires and rubies will sink straight to the bottom, and they'll sink fast. Many imitations, especially those made from glass or certain plastics, are less dense. They might sink slowly, or in some cases, even float. It's a basic density check that can help you quickly separate the real contenders from the obvious fakes. Let's get up close and personal. For this next check, a cheap jeweler's loupe, which you can buy online for about £10, is invaluable. Use it to examine the edges of the facets, the small, flat cuts on the surface of the stone. On a real, professionally cut gem, these facet edges will be sharp and crisp. They meet at precise points. On a molded glass or plastic fake, the edges often look rounded, soft, or even slightly melted. This is a telltale sign of a cheap manufacturing process. Sharp edges suggest craftsmanship, rounded edges suggest a mold. Here's a trick that feels like something out of a spy movie: the UV light test. A small, inexpensive UV or blacklight torch can reveal hidden clues. Many diamonds will fluoresce, meaning they glow, under UV light. The most common color is a distinct blue. While not all diamonds glow, a strong blue fluorescence is a very positive indicator. Some synthetic stones and glass either don't react at all or might glow in odd colors like green or yellow. It's not a definitive test on its own, but it's another piece of evidence to add to your case file. Next is the magnet test. This one is for checking the metal, not the stone. Gold, silver, and platinum are not magnetic. So, bring a small, reasonably strong magnet with you. If you hold it up to a piece that's supposed to be solid gold and the ring or chain snaps right to it, you've got a fake. It's most likely a base metal like iron or nickel that's just been plated with a thin layer of gold. Be aware that some clasps on jewelry might contain a tiny steel spring, which will be magnetic, so test the main body of the piece, like the band of the ring or the links of the chain. Finally, use the powerful tool you already have in your pocket, your smartphone. If you find a piece with a distinctive style or marking, take a clear picture. You can use Google's reverse image search to see if you can find similar items online. This can help you identify the era, the designer, or even the specific model of the jewelry. There are also apps that can help you identify gemstones and hallmarks. Comparing the cut, setting, and style to known vintage or designer pieces can give you crucial information about its potential origin and value. So, to wrap it all up with a bonus tip, trust your instincts, but verify them. If a piece feels too light, looks too perfect, or seems too garishly shiny, it's often a fake. Real treasures often have a sense of history to them. They feel solid, they might show minor signs of wear, and their beauty is in their natural, slightly imperfect character. The real thrill of treasure hunting isn't just about the money, it's about the detective work, the process of discovery, and the story behind the object. So, keep these tips in mind, and happy hunting! Thank you so much for watching. If you found these tips helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for more treasure hunting adventures and tips. We'll see you in the next one.